Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Golf Love UK. This is Pro Golf Critic, and we are the co-hosts, the hosts, the men in charge of the Golf Lovers United podcast. We've had a little bit of time off for Christmas. I think my traveling is feeling like it's ended, Jay. Like,
you've been all over the world. You've been just like many time zones. Many.
Mate, I went from -10 in Finland in Helsinki to 35 degrees in Grand Cayman. I have had to the point where I couldn't bother to drive to the office 30 minutes each way to get my proper microphone today. I can't find any of my wireless headphones. I dare say, having looked at my phone, it says that two of them are no longer connected to my phone. They're going to be in some airport or somewhere in the world. I've got one set of wireless headphones left, which when I open them only recognize the right headphones.
What a world.
I think
what
I
a
said
world
to you,
of technology.
I think I said to you, Kev, and Live 54, that I think I've spent 28 days in my own house, 28 nights in my own house since the 1st of October to the 23rd of December.
It's been crazy. Things have been crazy for me too, but not quite travel wise, but like, yeah, there hasn't been.
You've been crazy
in
this in place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, the new year is upon us. There's a lot of stuff going on for us to talk about. Like I say, almost every podcast that we do, and now, we've had about a month since our last one, so there's a lot of stuff been going on, a lot of changes that have happened. So yeah, excited to get into it.
I'm just going to go into my Live team tracker and delete Brooks. Oh, hang on a second. There we are. Delete. So
yeah, it's traumatic.
Maybe we start there.
Yeah. It's a little. It's definitely a little bit like it's been surprising. It's been traumatic for some folks.
One second. I want you to do the lead on Brooks, but I'm going to say two things. One, Brooks is a big name to lose from Liv. Inarguable. But, and I've said this on the podcast before, Brooks has never been smash GC, heavy into Liv. He's never slept and breathed the team element and the Liv element. So I'm not anyone who wants to go, Ben's just saying that because he wants to lessen. I led by going, he's a big name to lose. He 100% is a big name to lose. To pretend otherwise would be disingenuous and be foolish. Yeah, but of all the captains on Liv, he has been the least involved and the least loving of the Liv product. So if he wasn't such a big name and it was just the personality he's had with the Liv product, I kind of wouldn't be that bothered. And who knows what happened? And Flush has done some great interviews with Bryson, in which Bryson, he didn't throw Brooks under the bus at all, but he did make it clear that Brooks never really fully was into Liv in the same way that he is, or Bubba's been, or Sergio's been, or even DJ's been. DJ loves it. DJ's done loads of 4 Aces content, and DJ's known for being a man that's not too gregarious and
he's very invested.
Affectations, but he's been very invested. So of all the captains, Brooks has been the least invested. So I'm going to say it again. Huge loss name-wise, but with regards to buying into the league, what the league want to be, how they want to be, he's probably the least loss of a captain in the sense of who you want them to be as part of the unit. Is that fair?
I think that's totally fair. I think that he's been... So there was a really good New York Times piece about Brooks. I think it was Brody Miller that did it, that I reposted on Twitter, where it basically talked a lot about just everything going on with Brooks and why, Liv really does need salespeople more than anything, as their captains and their sort of equity stakeholders. Like that's like the number one thing that they need, probably more than anything. And obviously I've been a little bit privy to some of the stuff going on behind the scenes with Brooks. And one of the things that I've been very consistent on, and this is something I'm consistent with every team and Liv, TGL, it doesn't matter. Like, I think that the number one thing that you have to have is that you have to have branding, consistent branding for every single team member in every single event. Like, it's so critical to just like for brand awareness and people knowing about Smash, and so that every time you turn on Live or you're watching a clip, you're watching a TikTok, whatever it is, like you're getting that Smash, that like consistent Smash message, whether it be on your cap, whether it be on your jacket, shirt, whatever it is. Like the branding is such a huge deal. And I knew that like coming in, if Brooks was going to renew and be part of Live, like he had to get rid of the Nike stuff. Like it was very clear that Nike, they're kind of getting out of golf. So like expecting them to be invested in Live probably wasn't going to happen. So they've been cutting back now for like the better part of a decade, whether it be Tiger leaving, that should be a red flag to everybody when you're like their number one person of all time leaves the brand. That's like, maybe Nike's going in another direction. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of people went, oh, that Nike can have a team, and it's easy to get caught up in all of that, especially when you have the likes of Tommy Fleetwood and Brooks, who are both Nike, and there's a few other people that are Nike and whatever else. There is a potential for that. But yeah, when your number one player has been, God, people hate it, let go by Nike, for all intents and purposes, if they wanted to re-up and sign Tiger again, he would have signed again. Let's not pretend otherwise. But a lot of these mutual things aren't mutual. They're like, hey, we're not going to pay you any more money. Do you want to stay with us for a lesser amount? No. Okay, let's say it's mutual. But whatever it might be. But yeah,
sounds like what happened with Brooks too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Look, really,
it's
really quick.
interesting. But
yeah,
you've got insight on some of this stuff, and I think
Mhm.
he never. I start by saying Brooks was never anything other but polite when we spoke to him. He never engaged in a full conversation. Like it was always like a 2 or 3 line. Like it was always polite. It was always courteous, but it was never how's the family. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't, was it? Like, you know what I mean? He was always like, I know you got a bit more out of him because your relationship with a couple of his family, but he, even with yourself, it wasn't like you went, Jay, how's the wife? How's the job? Like he's just not that. He's not that guy, and
No,
he was never that guy with the activations. Like, do you remember last year at JCB when Smash did an activation? The activation was Kokrak and Gooch, and Kokrak was on stage. Kokrak was on stage, and I said to you, watching Kokrak, there's, for English people listening to this, there's a footballer called Peter Crouch. I do the Americans you've probably never heard of him. Great footballer, but not a great looking bloke. 6'6", 6'7", gangly, thin, built like a rake. And he was once asked by a child or by I can't remember what it was. He was asked by a journalist, what would you have been if you weren't a footballer? And his answer was a virgin. That was his answer. I remember brilliantly. Kokrak, what would you be if you weren't a golfer? And Kokrak went, unemployed. He said all I ever wanted to do was play golf. And he talked to these kids about golf and how much he loved it. And from the first day he was able to hold a golf club, all he wanted to do was play golf as a kid, playing golf on the local course. And you saw the people who were part of Smash that were doing the activation were Gooch and Kokrak, and they were talking so passionately about golf, and you could see that even though it was a group of like 11 to like 13-year-olds, like he enjoyed answering the questions, he enjoyed being part of it.
But yeah, no, it was great.
And for all that Brooks brings with his name, he never wanted to do any of that. He never. You say you need salesman. He never wanted to be part of that. He was never rude. He was never difficult. He was never obstinate, but he wasn't exactly giving of himself. And, you're right.
That's kind of who
LIV needs salespeople.
Yeah,
LIV needs. I know. Pulse. I know Pulse at the end of the season always delivers. Somehow managed to stay on the league, and well done to Ian. But if you look at every single captain, take out Bryce and the couple, had the energy and the foregoing of getting themselves out there like Pulse does, and like Bryson and Bubba. But we never got that from Brooks.
No, and that's unfortunate. It just wasn't something that like, I'm not sure if he was the right personality to sort of be a captain. And look, we never want to rule out the fact Brooks could very well be back at some point. Like that's not there's a lot of unanswered questions right now. I think the biggest thing is if he ever were to sort of come back on LIV, I think that him being a captain's not really an option. Like I just don't think that, he's like the right person for that particular role. Given now the fact that we're almost 4 years in and we pretty much know exactly what's expected of the captains, what it takes for these captains and these brands to succeed. I think that the Crushers are a great example of that. They have a captain with Bryson who's been all in. He's one of the best salesmen that LIV people could possibly have. He's probably, if you really look at it, Bryson's probably their most valuable player overall outside of the golf course. I mean, obviously he's valuable on the golf course too, and I just think that with as much gravitas as Brooks brings, with 5 majors and all those events that he won 5 events on LIV too. Like he's a great player. You can't debate that. However, in that captain's role, you really do need to be more than just a player. You really do. And the thing people don't really realize is that Brooks was the only playing GM of any of 13 teams. And that to me was always kind of like a little bit of a red flag. Like, you know what, if you really want this brand to like succeed, you need to bring in someone from the outside that's like experienced in business, that knows the economics of sports, that knows all these things that the captains, most of them don't know because they haven't been in the space for that long. You need to sort of bring in someone with like the business expertise and acumen to really, really elevate your brand and elevate your franchise. Like that's what all the other teams are doing.
And every other sport, sorry. MJ, greatest basketball player of all time. Don't bring me LeBron, not the greatest basketball player.
Terrible GM. Terrible GM. Terrible
also,
owner.
But didn't try to be GM while he was on the court. But could you imagine John Elway or Dan Marino or David Beckham trying to run Man United or whatever it was while they were playing? You just can't do it. Tee the ball up, hit the ball. And if you want to be involved in those conversations, like I get the feeling quite strongly DJ is, he does that with Chris off the course. I want to say Randall. Is it Randall? My brain's gone blank.
Yeah. Randall and Bubba. Yeah.
Randall and Bubba are tight. Randall's obviously involved in Bubba and all that. Randall's got experience and all that. You don't see Bubba like midway through a round just like try and send a text message to HSBC to see if they can do a deal. Like he's got a guy who's experienced in running sports, understands sports, he's working on that, and they check in with each other, they work together.
It's big.
Brooks, again, the ironic thing is he didn't want to be Smash GC, but he wants to have all the control over Smash GC.
Yeah. And that's kind of a huge problem. And honestly, I think that one of the first things Taylor Gooch is going to do is he's going to bring in an actual GM that's going to run the business side, because
I don't think he'll have a choice. I think.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I think LIV are going to say, listen, we rebrand Smash GC. I don't care what LIV say, and I am going to go in a little bit hard at times on LIV today.
Yeah, of course.
Because Smash GC, I know you, me, Kev, and a couple of others were chatting about it, and we said, well, Smash GC team isn't going to change because they've just done a clothing drop promo on, I think it was the 21st, the 20th? I sent you their clothing drop promo they did on Instagram. Like, they did a clothing drop promo, like and that had all 4 players in. So that was on the 20th or the 19th of December. So I don't think anyone thought this was happening.
No, this caught a lot of people off guard. And I think that one of the things people need to realize is that this was truly a mutual parting of ways. This is not just Brooks walking away. This is something that's been in the works for a while. Like, I've known that there's been sort of legal teams around this thing for a while. And like, for me, when I heard that, I was always hopeful. That they were going to be able to work out a deal, since I felt like his contract obviously ran through next year. He had another year on his deal, just like Bryson does. They had a little bit more time to potentially negotiate. Except one of the things, like, these contracts that they originally signed in 2022, they may be just completely null and void at this point, because so much has changed, whether it be the entire structure of the league changing, going from 54 to 72 holes. I've gotten an inkling that may be part of the reason why he was able to sort of get out of his contract early. And they figured out they're really wasn't any sort of coming together because Brooks was not going to give up the Nike stuff. His contract still runs, I think, another couple years. And he wasn't all in. And one of the things I know for a fact LIV leadership wants from all these players is that they want every single player to be all in. They all have to be all in when it comes to the teams, to the branding, to the business side, doing everything it takes, leaving no stone unturned to make these teams successful. And that's one thing that they couldn't get from Brooks. So it's like unfortunately, the only option at this point, there are really sort of two options. One would be to downgrade him from a captain and either have him slide in on Smash as sort of
the second player,
the number two player, or you make him a wild card, take him off Smash. That just makes things so awkward. It's like, I don't know how you could really even do that.
It can't be a second because you can't have a player on the team not wearing the gear.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. That's the thing that like every team going forward, there has to be a line in the sand. Like, look, we let you kind of slide by because we didn't want to upset the apple cart when it came to your Nike contract and all that other stuff. Every other player has been able to adjust. That's coming from the beginning. So if you're not able to adjust,
it might take them 12 or 18 months to adjust, but they adjusted.
Right. Yeah, eventually they all did. Even DJ, eventually is wearing the 4Aces hat, wearing all the 4Aces gear, the TaylorMade stuff is gone. So that's been one of the things that's been really interesting about this whole process that people are not talking about, because the golf media is 100% making this about Brooks wanted to go back to the PGA Tour. When that is not, he has never said that. He has never said that he wanted to be a PGA Tour member again. However, now that he is off of LIV, he's obviously going to seek whatever opportunities that he has to play and prepare for the majors. So obviously that could be a marriage of convenience if he's ever allowed to go back to the PGA Tour. They haven't said anything about this indefinite suspension. They're obviously putting out information saying that they're making this whole Brooks thing a marketing thing for the PGA Tour, which is exactly what propagandists do. They take every little thing and they want to make this parting of the ways about them when it has nothing to do with the PGA Tour. This is about Brooks and LIV and everything going on around it. So for the fact that the PGA Tour wants to sort of try to slam dunk on LIV because of this shows you exactly what kind of leadership they still have. And I've been very complimentary of Brian Rolap, of some of the new leadership that's come into the PGA Tour. But everything that they've done since Brooks and LIV decided to part ways shows you all the reasons why I still loathe them the way that they do, until they really, really look inward and start figuring out, you know what? Is saying this about Brooks and LIV and all that, is that good for golf? Probably not. Maybe we need to start thinking about, okay, what's actually the best thing for the sport of golf, not just what's best for the PGA Tour.
Well, look, the PGA Tour statement was snarky, horrible.
It was stupid. So stupid.
It was them saying, we wish Brooks the best in his family. Just fuck off.
No, they don't. They don't care. They don't give a F about these players. And I will tell every player that. They don't care about you.
If they cared about them, they would either say they are independent contractors, which they won't. And if they are independent contractors, which they keep pretending they are in the way they treat them, they'd be giving them proper sick pay, proper employee benefits, proper other stuff, which they haven't done.
And they're not going to do that.
And they're not going to do that. I would like to say something to the powers that live at the moment. I've seen the guys that LIV, like you have, and I'm not going to mention the names of the staff, but the staff that will listen to this and they know who they are, I have seen them cozying up at times, trying to build, because it's their job, good relationships with the media. That is their job. I understand it. And I get it. But I'm going to say this now very clearly. To the people at LIV that have tried to make friends with the media and have tried to be really, really nice, and I've seen it at events where they're stood outside chatting to journalists who hate you. I'm going to say this now. The journalists in the PGA Tour world, traditional golf journalists, they hate you. They don't respect LIV. They don't want LIV to exist. I understand it's your job to build relationships, but the same people you're trying to build relationships with slagged you off for 2.5 to 3.5 years. They were the ones that propagated the Bonesaw Tour. They were the ones that called your tour names. They were the ones that called Greg and LIV names. They were the ones that attacked your players. They are the ones that have continued to do that. They cozy up to you for a free lunch and for some inside access to a couple of your players. They do not like you. I understand it's the job of LIV executives to build relationships, but you're trying to build it with people that don't like you. They will never like you. They will never respect you. They will never want you at the table of golf. While it might be your job, please remember they don't like you. They'll never respect you. And those same journalists are the same ones, the first people that when Brooks left were putting snarky things up like, oh, this doesn't seem like a good day for LIV. Of course it wasn't a good day. And they were loving it. They were jumping up and down in their chests at the failure they perceive LIV to have. So next time when you're at an event and you're thinking this journalist likes you, just remember, people show you who they are. Trust them. The only person I've seen, actually two, the only person I've seen being from a traditional golf journalist magazine be fair is Andy Roberts from Golf Magic. Andy Roberts is a good man. And he has been fair and covered LIV fairly from the start. He has pointed out things that are wrong, and he's supported LIV and given good airtime. He's never taken the PGA Tour stance and drunk the PGA Tour Kool-Aid. He's been a good man, and he's been fair to you. And the other one that's been largely fair and has got criticism at times and can be a bit critical of LIV, but has been very fair in many ways, is Michael McEwen from Bunkered. Michael can also get stuck in a little bit, but he has been very, very fair. So to LIV executives, just remember, when I'm not going to say the names of the journalists who are there, they know who's been there. But the guys from Barstool don't want to be your friend. There are other people in the golf media that you talk to that have come to your events. They don't want to be your friend. The Sports Illustrated guys don't want to be your friend. They don't want you as part of the golf landscape. And I just hope and pray that the people that from LIV I know listen to this will start to understand. Look at the people that posted and what they posted when Brooks left. Look at the people and what they posted for the last 3.5 years. Writing an article which says, here are the things I enjoyed about a LIV event, doesn't mean they like you. Because you look at things they don't like and there are other comments outside that event. Please focus on LIV, focus on your product, focus on getting your word out there. Get your guys on podcasts, get them talking, get them doing stuff. But these people don't like you. That's the end of my soliloquy there. But
no, it's great. I'm
it
glad I didn't have to
annoys me.
say it. Yeah. No, I totally agree with everything you said. And this goes back to my whole tirade and diatribe that I've had on the American golf media for 4 years. Like, this is not a coincidence. This is something that hasn't really changed. And it's something that like, if there's one thing that I've been right about from the beginning that like no one can even argue or debate about, is the fact that the American golf media is completely corrupt. Because the thing that those two guys have in common is that they're not part of the American golf media. And I think that everything inside the United States, I think the PGA Tour has this like stranglehold on the entire golf media, whether they work for Golf Digest, Golf Magazine, Golf Week, it doesn't matter. Like, they're all basically the same at this point. They're all propaganda arms of the PGA Tour for the most part. Does that mean that they have been, slightly flattering here and there? Of course they have, because it's like, once they realize LIV is going to be part of the landscape, like, they have to at least like, they have to play nice at the very least, except in private, they are slagging them off, as you like to say, for sure. And I think that that's something that they all need to be highly aware of. Most of them, most of the old guard is highly aware of this, obviously. A lot of the new guard, they haven't been sort of in the trenches the way that we have. Me speaking as probably the foremost critic of the entire golf media, and the entire American golf establishment, really. I've been in the trenches of this for a long, long time. Like, I know who could potentially be converted. Like, there's a lot of guys that have kind of had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. There's a lot of people, because of the Saudi angle, unfortunately, like, we have to be honest that like the Saudi angle is a huge, huge reason why a lot of these people in the American golf media are the way that they are. And that's been something that I've been trying to fight by shining light on some of these bad narratives that have been out there for a while. I felt like it's been me against the entire golf media trying to shine a light on this stuff, and I felt like I've been winning that battle on social media, which is really, really funny. So because I'm highly educated on this stuff, I study it every single day. I'm constantly trying to find little nuggets of information to help my case. And I know they're not doing that because they're relying on these bad, old, outdated talking points that they've been relying on since 2022 that have come directly from the PGA Tour, which is what I covered in my last solo podcast, where I talked about all the reasons why I hate the PGA Tour, even though I don't hate them. I just strongly dislike them. So anyway, I'm not going to add too much more to the media stuff. Everybody knows how I feel about it at this point. It is what it is. I just want all the people at LIV to like fully understand this and fully grasp this, because I'm not entirely sure that they all do. So we'll have to see how things play out here.
I think they hope that these guys are going to come round, but they're not.
I think that the OWGR thing, I think that some of them are going to use OWGR to sort of flip a little bit. Like someone like Bob Herrick that's been sort of riding the fence a little bit. He's been really, really on this OWGR stuff from the beginning. If LIV is part of the OWGR at some point, I think you'll see somebody like Bob Herrick flip. So, and there's a handful of those guys out there that like, even though they are just like, you know, woke kind of liberal, extreme left liberals in the golf media, in all of American media for the most part, like it just is what it is at this point. Anybody with a brain knows that. So if you're aware of this, that's the big thing. Like everybody just needs to be aware of this and basically plan accordingly. So,
well, should we end the podcast there? I don't know. I just think we've done a really good job.
No, I think, look, I think since our last podcast, there are a lot of good things that have happened. Like I think signing Victor Perez, I think the Clique's bringing Victor Perez, who's a 3-time European Tour winner. I think that's great. I think bringing Laurie Canner back, and it sounds like I still haven't seen this as like official, but it sounds like he's coming back to the Majestics, which I think is great.
No, that's been official. That is official. Yeah.
That's what I thought. But I saw some Majestic stuff out there that didn't have it all. Like he's not on the website yet. Brooks is already off the website.
He's 100. He's 100% back on the Majestics. The Majestics were the ones that announced his return. It wasn't him. The Majestics announced his return. He's 100% back on the Majestics. I think the one thing around the Majestics
website.
I think the one thing
still got Henrik Stenson on there.
Well, yeah, look, LIV again. I know some execs listening. When Laurie Cantor is announced, it does. I'm not saying Horsfield's going or staying. I'm not saying West Ian is staying, but now it's been announced they are. But if you know Stenson's left, take him off the website. Put a blank slate, put a blank page in there, player to be confirmed. And now the player's confirmed, get him up there. It's really simple. Your website is your business card to your company. Get your website up to date. And like, it's such a small thing. He wants sponsors to give you millions and millions of pounds. Well, if I'm IWC, who are the watch sponsor of Laurie Cantor, I think, and he plays ping gear, and I think he wears Oscar Jacobson. I might be wrong. Like, if I'm one of their sponsors, like, I want my player on there. Just, if you want these guys to give you money, like, do the basics. Like, we spoke with Ron up at LIV last year, and like, the amount of golfers in the UK that didn't know that ITV was showing LIV for free. Like over half of the season still didn't know. So we never knew. No one's ever told us. Like, just some of this stuff is just so route one. Let people know how to find you. Let people know who's playing in your league.
Yeah, there needs to be more of a. Yeah, there needs to
be
better communication.
There's got to be better transparency. The amount of money LIV has spent on. Fuck me. How many communication directors and director of communication, director of player communication? Like there's so many, and also. There's amazing people. Like, I talk about Lara. Lara's amazing. She's a great woman and really good at what she does. But she's one woman. Like, there has to be other people helping her. and helping the whole, not just Lara, that's unfair, but the whole communications area get some of this information out. Whoever is part of the Majestics, like, and we know the Majestics guys, like just have on the Majestics page who your bloody team is.
Yeah. Well, yes, because
have they updated Fireball? Have they updated the Fireballs team yet?
Fireball's updated. Andy Ogletree from High Flyers is still there. Yumin Jang from Ironheads is still there. We already talked about Stenson. He's still there. And there's a couple guys that we've heard are not coming back that are still there. Matt Jones is playing in the promotions event. He's still there.
Stenson's not even in the qualifiers.
No, Stenson's gone.
Like, yeah. He's not coming back. Take him off the website.
Yeah. No, there's... Yeah, like they have updated Torquay, which is good, except there's just, I think that, like, it's one of the things. So really quick sidebar, I got invited to a charity event, Ben Baller's. He has a Wash Lord charity scramble that he runs. He runs a couple every year. Shout out Ben Baller, by the way.
Nice bloke.
Great guy. Like he was sort of introducing me around, and it was like shocking to me. Like, I've been known as kind of like a LIV representative in a lot of ways, not because like LIV pays me, because they clearly don't. However,
I'm still waiting for that Saudi. I'm still waiting for that Saudi money to clear. I keep getting told about. Once again, if anyone knows where that Saudi money is, I'm getting paid. My favorite. Well, I might have said it before on a podcast. My favorite one was the person who DM'd me, said, "I know for a fact that you're getting $7,500 a month." I'm like, mate, where is that money gone? Because trust me, if I was getting that money, there'd be signs. There would be signs.
I know.
How many months is it now? Hang on, is it? It's 42 months, isn't it? It's been going 42 times 7,500. If anyone knows, that's a lot of money. If anyone knows my 315 grand is, mate, please let me know, because I really like it.
It's really funny.
I know for a fact you're getting.
If that was a fact, guess what? Like, we wouldn't be spending the last 2 months mostly slagging LIV off. Let's be honest. That's mostly what we've been doing for the most part. Because look, we've had a lot of patience. We've had a lot of patience with LIV. We still support LIV. Like, we want it to succeed.
I love the product.
We love the product. And this is what I talk about with people at like these charity events. So like, it is so wild to me how little people know about LIV, just kind of out there in the American golf community. And like, we really do need like a grassroots effort, like from the bottom up, from like the club level up, to like really start to break down these bad narratives and bad propaganda that have been out there for 3-4 years. Because guess what? This is what the PGA Tour does. Like, they go to all these markets that they're in, whether it be the PGA Tour or the Champions Tour, whatever it is, Korn Ferry Tour. They've got their propaganda army out there and sort of getting people against LIV, and they've been doing it from the beginning. So, and that hasn't changed as far as I could tell. So it's like, unless you really want to invest in that, like, that's going to be the only way to flip this thing. Because everybody that I talk to, they tell me afterwards how much they appreciate it, like how much they like learning about it, and how much like I can deconstruct these bad narratives that are out there. Like, I was literally talking to a college team here in the Bay Area about stuff, and like, it was wild how little they knew about LIV, because they were so close-minded. And it's because that media influence that we talk about is so critical, and it's part of the reason why the PGA Tour is so invested in the American golf media. It's part of the reason why corporate media is what it is, and why every single political party is so invested in it, because they know that that's such a key to influencing people in the right or wrong way, depending on how you're looking at it. So that's something that, like, if LIV is serious about like flipping the script here in the United States, that's something that they need to start focusing on, because just doing what they're doing now is not going to do it. Like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you might as well not have any events here in the United States. Like, it's pointless. So I think some of the markets where LIV has gone, like, I think that those have been markets that have sort of flipped things. Like, if you look at Nashville or You look at some of the other markets like, DC or Indiana or like Michigan, like you see, or even Chicago a little bit, like you start to see things flip a little bit. They really need to sort of expand that out to all corners of the country to like get people to realize what LIV is about.
Or they don't. Bear with me. Or they
Okay.
don't. They just double down in those areas. They go, okay, we're going to take the Dallas Metropole, Michigan, New York, New Jersey, Tennessee,
New York's
whatever it might be. Pick 4 or 5 American cities and stay there. And then have one American event that tours around, maybe 2. Do you know what I mean? Just double down and stay there. Get your loyal fan base. Get people. Again, I can't remember who I talked to. Christ, Jay, my brain's gone blank.
Really?
I spoke to
go.
members of my club.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I just asked, I was on the range, I was just talking to like, it was 10 different blokes. And I said to them, I'm interested. I don't care whether you like LIV or not, but can I ask you a question? I said, I do a little bit of work covering LIV and stuff. And I said, can I ask you a question? Have you ever watched LIV? And 4 of the 10 said, oh, I don't have YouTube. I don't use YouTube. LIV hasn't been on YouTube for, I don't know how long. Like it's
almost 3 years. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy that 4 out of 10 people. And then one guy said, I don't use apps. I don't like to watch stuff on my phone. And I said, okay, I understand. But no, that's fair enough. At least knew the LIV app existed. Only 2 people out of 10 knew that LIV was on ITVX, which is on their TV or widescreen 4K. Whatever it's shown in, I don't know the resolutions. Only 2 out of 10 knew it was on there. The other guy, the other 2 said, "Oh, I use it on my phone, and I sometimes go on my laptop and watch it." And it's nuts for me that's still people just don't know where to find it.
Yeah, it needs to be at the club level. Like
Build it and they will come works only for a cornfield. Like Build It and They Will Come is a movie about a cornfield. Like it's not. Build It and They Will Come is not about a golf tour or about other sports.
Yes, 100%. And it's something that I say people are so susceptible to propaganda, and like I will give the PGA Tour and the American Golf Establishment full credit.
They've done it brilliantly.
They've done a great job of sort of attaching a lot of negative stuff to LIV, and it sort of turns people off immediately so that they don't experience it at all. And it's like the people that have experienced LIV, like the people that I talk to are at LIV events, and it's a pretty significant sample size at this point. Those people prior to coming to LIV and after coming to LIV, they have an entirely different view of it. That's not coincidental. And like, that's the thing that like, you're never going to go to enough markets. LIV is never going to go to enough American markets to like flip every single person. It's not going to happen. However, strategically, they need to go to these markets and just like from the very grassroots level, because it is that club level. If you're able to flip
that's where we're going to disagree, because I actually think get 5 that are your home markets. Get 5. Get Chicago. Get Dallas, and then take the other 2 on tour if you want.
If you want to start there, that's fine, because there are a few very key markets that you need to, if you're going to be successful here in the United States, you need to get the 5 biggest markets. You need to get New York. You need to get LA. You need to get, you could throw in DC. You already kind of have Chicago a little bit and Dallas. Like those are 5 of the biggest markets.
Give up on Florida.
Yeah, Florida, forget it.
Florida is the PGA Tour homeland.
And it's mostly retirees and people that are old. So it's like, it's not your audience anyway. And it's like, and I could say this because my dad is retired and he lives in Florida. Like I've been in these communities. I've lived in Florida. I know Florida. Forget Florida. Florida is going to be off limits to LIV pretty much for decades at this point. The PGA Tour is way too much of a stranglehold on it. And that's fine. America's a big country. There's a lot of places to go. There's a lot of really important and sort of influential markets that like once you get people to really experience it in these other markets, which is why I think next year it sounds like they're going to the New York market again, because that's become the home of LIV here in the United States. That's where if you could start flipping the New York market, then all of a sudden the whole country is going to open up to you a little bit more. So, and I'm not sure how far away we are from them like really being able to sort of penetrate that market. I'm very curious to see what their strategy and approach is when it comes to this event, which I know is still not set in stone yet. Sounds like it might go to Trump Bedminster. It might go to Ferry Point. Not entirely sure just yet. They still have a few events on the schedule that haven't been announced. So there's just a lot of there's still a lot of things left to be sorted for next season. Players, sites, sponsorships, rebranding. It sounds like Smash is probably going to stay the same next year, except two other teams. We've already talked about Ironheads and we've talked about Stinger. Those are two that are most likely to get rebranded here in the next month or two.
Yeah, because don't get me started on the golf media pretending they were the ones that found the patents that I did.
That's what they do, though. That's why I call them. That's why I call them what I do.
And then one of them saying, "Oh, well done to Sean Zuck for being the first person to find this out." No, yeah, mate, absolutely.
Don't get me started on these clowns. Don't get me started.
It was the way he was like, and then them back clapping, saying, "Oh, and the excellent journalism done by whoever a few weeks ago and finding this out."
This is what they do.
Made me just feel sick. They're just so full of crap.
There's one person in the corrupt golf media that steals somebody else's information. Then everybody else in the media gloms on to the guy that stole the information and totally boxes out everybody else from this information. Like, that's their whole strategy. That's how the whole thing operates. That's how it's been for forever. So anyway, the whole thing gets me very agitated, obviously.
When we found that out, we actually spoke quite a lot about, and we thought it might be new teams, but it does look much more like Club Toros, whatever it was. What's it called? My brain's gone blank now. Real Club Toros. We know that's the rebranding of the Fireballs. Southern Belindi and Becco East. That could be Ironheads and Stinger as rebrands.
So just a quick update on that. The Becco East, it does sound like that's the Ironheads rebrand. Southern Belindi is actually going to be scrapped. That was a backup plan. Southern Guards is probably going to be the Stinger rebrand. There was a little bit of like uncertainty around the trademark around that because of there's another team here in the United States that kind of it sounds kind of sort of like that. Apparently they've been able to bypass that, so they're probably going to go with Southern Guards. That was sort of hot off the presses. I was talking to somebody about that earlier this weekend. So yeah, those seem like, so those are kind of, there were 4 rebrands. 3 of them are going to get used, and it's going to be Fireballs, Stinger, because Stinger had some sort of trademark issue with Stinger GC. And then obviously the last one, Ironheads. So Ironheads, Stinger, Fireballs. Those are the 3 that are going to be rebranded, looks like. We don't have that much time between now and the beginning of the season. We're looking at 5 weeks. Half of these teams still have to bring in a new player. Like, I know Ripper already has someone signed that you and I have been talking about on his podcast for a while. Hopefully that gets announced here soon, because LIV needs some PR wins very, very soon. There's no question about it. The more people that I talk to, they're like, yeah, LIV really needs to like get some PR wins here, because they've been taking L's now for like a month. So we got to figure that out. I know who the high flyers have had targeted. We'll have to see if they're able to get that deal across the line. Now with Brooks being gone, like, I mean, it frees up probably tens of millions of dollars potentially, and some additional equity that you could potentially bring in someone, entice someone to sort of slide into Smash.
I'm guessing they haven't given Gooch the 25% equity that
I don't think so.
that Brooks had. So
yeah.
So
I think he's got partial.
Let's say they give him Gooch. Let's say they give him Gooch 10%. He could bring another person in at 10%. They've got about 35 million, 40 million spare. About 40 to 45 million spare from Brooks's last year, not taken. They were banding around 30 million here, 40 million here for a couple of different players. So let's say they've got 120 million. Just go and drop that on 2 big names. Just kind of 60 million on 2 big names.
Yeah,
40 million each on 3 fairly big names. Like I've said for ages, like again, you want salespeople, you want fun people. Like if you've got money, go and spend it on Go and spend it on JJ Spawn. I've said a few times, like, he is a perfect fit for this league. Go and get JJ Spawn. He's got the majors locked up for 5 years now. Go and get him. Just go and get him. Give him. Say, here you are, JJ. Here's 50 million for a 4-year contract. Just go.
Yeah, look.
Just go. Interestingly, JJ Spawn has now taken membership on the DP World Tour.
Yes, exactly. And like, some of these guys have crossover appeal. Like, JJ Spawn is Filipino American. I know that the Asian Tour International Series kind of has a foothold in the Philippines. We know that the LIV players in their contract extensions are going to be required to play a couple Asian Tour events.
They have to play 2 Asian Tour events, which,
yes,
it did say those Asian Tour events could be international series. So let's be honest, and they're all going to play international series. So they've got to play 2 international series events. Mm-hmm. Just go and give JJ Spawn $50 million, 4 years, plus his prize money. He's going to get a minimum of 60 million prize money over a 4-year period in, like, whatever. Just go and do it. Because frankly, LIV, if you don't go and get 4 or 5 players, 2 or 3 names, people are, well, I still love the product and I still love what you're doing and I will still support LIV. It'd be very hard for people outside of LIV to take it seriously.
The momentum, they've had a lot of momentum past few years, and like a lot of that kind of got stemmed a little bit in 2025 just because of, you didn't bring in a big name in the offseason, even though obviously Tom McKibben and Jose Baez are going to be stars in the future. They're not names that really had, a ton of gravitas when they signed. They are going to have to go out and get a couple names. And I know one of the names that's been in the media now for the past couple of weeks that we haven't talked about is Siwoo Kim, that we've sort of talked about. We've talked about them bringing Korean players from the very beginning when we started this podcast. I know that some of this stuff is still ongoing. I don't know if they're going to be able to work out a deal with Siwoo Kim. That bench is very, very uncertain at the moment. Except when I start thinking about it, I'm like, okay, is Siwoo Kim going to be a great salesman to sort of bring in sponsors and bring in all that stuff? I don't know, honestly. Like, is he worth it? I think JJ Spawn is gonna do that, even though he may not be a captain. Like, he can sort of play that number 2 role to sort of really help to build a franchise. Siwoo Kim, I'm not sure about. Kevin Na, even though his play on the golf course hasn't been great, Kevin Na has been one of the best salespeople LIV has had. He's the primary reason why they were able to bring LIV Golf to Korea last year. Still TBD if they're going to be returning this year. Like, they need to keep Kevin Na, and they need to bring in someone that is of that ilk to potentially help him with that market. I think someone like Ben On is probably a slightly better option than Siwoo Kim, if I'm being honest. And I've given Ben On a little bit of grief on social media in the past. I actually like Ben On. Like he's a Cal Bear. Like, shout out to UC Berkeley, Cal Bears, go Bears. Like, there's a lot of those types of guys on the PGA Tour that you could bring in that like, if you do bring them in at the right price point, there would be great salespeople to sort of bridge that sort of American-Korean gap the way that Kevin Na has been helping to do. So they just have to find the right players for these teams. A lot of it is about playing on the golf course, obviously. That's not the whole game, though. And that's the thing that I've been laying into from the beginning about LIV. It's not just about on the course. It's about off the course, too, because a lot of these guys are going to be able to they got to start building equity in these teams. They have to start building brands. They have to be interested in it. They have to be engaged in it. They have to love it. And those are the types of players that they need to focus on. And I think that they have a couple on the way. They just need to sort of get these guys across the line, because there's a lot of uncertainty about that. And this is an important point. I've heard from enough people now that I know this is a concern. Bryson's status is a huge, huge thing in this whole equation, because a lot of guys have been thinking about coming over and like they kind of have one foot in the door, but they're also like, well, is Bryson going to be here next year? Like, is Brooks going to be here next year? Brooks obviously isn't now, but if Bryson isn't there either, people are getting cold feet because like they want to make sure that like LIV is a strong sort of ecosystem and league that is going to maintain a certain level. And if they're not willing to re-sign these very key headlining guys, and they're not also willing to bring in guys that are going to help fortify and strengthen the league and these teams, it's a huge problem. And that, in addition to the lack of funds, the lack of ability to pay some of these guys what they want, those two things are going to drive people away. So this is like a very critical time for LIV. I've been saying it for weeks now. The next 6 weeks are probably the most pivotal LIV has ever had since the very launch. And like, they have to figure some of the stuff out because they've built up a lot of momentum that can very well come crashing down next year if you're not careful. And I know there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things going on with the players, and then also potentially an ownership change that I've been hearing rumblings about now, where like we might be looking at a Saudi PIF trying to divest a certain percentage to like private equity. Like that's out there too. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. So I just want everybody to pay attention to this. There's a lot still to come. None of this is decided yet. There's a lot of moving parts, just like Bryson said in his interview with Flush. There's a lot of moving parts. Even he didn't know about the Brooks thing until it dropped. There's a lot of people inside LIV that didn't know about the Brooks thing until it actually dropped. So a lot of moving parts. Stay tuned. LIV needs to stay motivated. We've got to figure this thing out because the momentum that you have could very well be lost. And like once you lose momentum, it's very hard to get it back.
Yeah. Look, I just take the 120 million, split it between Marco Penge, JJ Spawn, Sepp Straka, and
Benon, Siwoo Kim,
Akshay Bhatia.
Akshay.
Yeah, like just go and split it between those 4 or 5 guys. Just get on with it, because otherwise the momentum's gone.
Yeah. And honestly, someone like
stop believing these media people want to be your friends. Stop believing they're ever going to treat you with respect. They don't like you.
Someone like Wyndham Clark, who I've been very negative about the past couple of years, he's a perfect brand fit for Smash. He's been smashing lockers. He's been smashing drivers. He's been smashing all sorts of stuff the last year.
Have fun with it.
Have fun with it. Like this is a golden opportunity.
Wyndham Clark, I know his value will come down, but he wanted. Remember, he was offered 80 million. He went like, does he still see himself as 100?
I think it was less than that. Less than that. But you're in the ballpark.
Oh no, sorry. He was offered 60 and wanted 80.
Yeah,
that was it. He was offered 60 and wanted 80. He wanted 20.
I think he would take that original deal now.
Of course he would. Yeah.
And I think that's
Tony's wife won't let him take it. I say that Tony before anyone jumps in a comment. Obviously, I'm joking. I'm just joking around, but
of course you are. Anyway,
you look at a lot.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options that LIV still has on the table. They've got to figure out how to get some of these guys across.
Salespeople in it. I either want some young guns like Rasmus Nergaard Peterson. I talk about him all the time. Like I've bet on him 3 times, and he's all 3 times he shit the bed. The 3 times I've gone, do you know what? I'm gonna fade him this week. He's gone on 1 or been like top 2, 3s. His players like that, just go and get.
He's on my shit list for beating Cam in Australia, but
yeah,
that's when I'll have to get over at some point. That's when Cam's gonna have to get over too. But anyway, yeah, there's some of the young guys like God, there's so many names that we can sort of go through at this point. But like we've already dropped most of them. You got to get those guys.
Just very quickly, is Torquay beatable now? They got answer.
That's a great question.
I know Legion are good, but
Legion's great.
I'm wearing my Torquay coloured. Can't quite see.
Shout out Ping.
I'm under the world's worst lighting here. I can't wait. I've got someone coming to the house in 27th of January to redo all of our internet, so that I can actually do it in the snug that so I can actually do it in there. I've got some golf stuff to put behind me, some better lighting in front of me. Obviously, when I'm in the office, it's so much better. But I'm in the kitchen now, and the lighting is. Well, you've been at this table. I'm at the mood lighting table for a sexy romantic dinner. But this isn't quite podcast lighting.
No.
But yeah, I love the LIV product, mate. But you know that. I just
really quick
I'm
on
a
Torquay.
I'm a bit tired of it. I'm a bit tired of They're trying to find answers and trying to justify things, because at the minute,
I know.
let's just stop justifying stuff. You're still a startup. You're in the scale-up stage. You know what scale-ups have to do? Run at a loss, dump a load of cash on the product. Just go and I'm not saying dump 1 billion on players, but if you don't want to do that, just go and dump 200 million. You've got the money, and otherwise you are literally just waving goodbye to your investment.
We can't keep making the same excuses that we were making in 2022 and 2023.
We can.
We have been loyal to the product because we were like, we know the plan. We know that, like, you know, it takes a little bit of time. We're going into season 5 here. This isn't season 1 or 2. Like, we've got enough time. We need to figure this stuff out. We need to figure out better communication. We need to figure out more transparency. Everybody at LIV knows how big I am about transparency in the media. That's like my number one thing above golf. And I've given them a pass on this because I'm like, look, it's a startup. Give it some time. It's going to mature. It's going to do all that stuff. Like Brooks said, shout out Brooks. They're not as far along as we would like them to be, particularly when it comes to the communication side. We really need more of that. There's a legion of people, shout out Legion 13. There's a legion of people out there that are willing to sort of help you guys out here. We just need some strategy. We need a little bit more update on the grand overall plan, because I know that that's obviously changed. Now that you're willing to change the whole format, there's a whole new plan in there with the new leadership. You need to start looping us in. You need to start looping the fans in and sort of the day one supporters, so that we can start evangelizing this from the grassroots level. And like, we need to like keep this momentum going, because like I said, once you lose it, just ask any sport, like any team sport, you have momentum. Once you lose that momentum in a game, it's very hard to get it back. And you need to keep the momentum going. So TBD.
You're wearing the proof of momentum. Hang on. Before we look forward, we'll look back. Let's talk about the best way to look at things on a golf course. And that would be shotscope.com.
Shotscope. It's the only way. It's the only way.
Hang on. What I love, right? And you're going to pretend you weren't massively against rangefinders. You were not a rangefinder guy. You were also not a little pebble dash, the little thing that has the picture of the different yardages. You were never you didn't dislike them, but you were never a massive fan. And now you've got that. You use it all the time and you love it. Tell the truth. Tell the viewers the truth. Do you now love it?
I will say, so people, I am a traditionalist in some ways. Like a lot of times I get my own yardages, like I step it off, all that stuff. To save time, rangefinders have saved me a lot of time. I stayed away from slope for the longest time. Now I realize how helpful it is having slope, having GPS all in the same device.
Yeah.
It kind of is a game changer. And look, I'm still playing the best golf of my life. Like, honestly, hand to God, I'm playing the best golf of my life right now. And like all of the different things that I've done, all the things that I've sort of, been part of my plan, rangefinder and sort of GPS and knowing the course a little bit better is part of it, a little bit better course strategy. All that stuff is very, very important. So I'm really happy.
Golf Lover at checkout will get you 15% off.
Shout out Srixon too. The best irons I've ever had. Shout out Srixon.
No, we're not straighting out Srixon. We're a ping podcast.
Shout out Ping too. Ping, that driver.
Ping driver, it's like cheating.
All my confidence in my game stems from the driver. It always has. And if I'm striping the driver, like the rest of my game comes.
I played a round the other day. I played 2 rounds in the last. I'm shooting just a little bit over my handicap. And I played with a +3 handicap the other day. And I found more fairways than him, more in regulation. Around 13 out of 15 fairways in regulation. Averaging in the winter in the UK, I was averaging 260, about 258, 262. We talk about no roll, like some of them.
Yeah, it's a little easier to find fairways when there's no roll.
I was getting backspin on it. There was no roll there. When you talk about finding fairways, I'm like 5 yards from the centre of the fairway. But my wedges, mate, I cannot hit a wedge. Honestly, the guy I'm playing with, he said, I shot 8 over. I shot 8 over, and he said, you would have shot level par today if you could have hit any wedge. 80 yards in, hit it 50 yards. 80 yards in, hit it 95 yards. 80 yards in, hit it 55, 60 yards. 70 yards in, hit it 90 yards. What's frustrating is that was the best part of my game. But as I've got better at golf and I can hit my irons really well, I'm not robotic, but you've seen my swing. My swing's very, very in and out, in the right place, in the right place. But my wedge game's just absolutely, and it's nothing to do with wedges, because if I hit a wedge off a tee, like, and I've got a par 3 that's 130 yards, I'm hitting a gap wedge into there, it's absolutely fine. It's not I can't swing a wedge. They've just lost all confidence with that ground contact.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm either getting everything bottom groove, and it's going 20% further than I want it to, when it's coming out hot shit, or I'm just taking a little bit too much. I need to work on that. There's no sponsor, by the way, that can help me with that. There's no sponsor. There's no code to enter at checkout. If you know a code to enter at checkout to get me able to hit a wedge again, I'd absolutely love it. I should have been level par, 1 over, 1 under the other day.
It's tough.
13 out of 15 fairways. Couldn't hit a wedge for toffee. Ended up, I think I was either 7 or 8. I was 7 or 8 over, and I only found the green in regulation 5 times from those 13 drives.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
And we're not talking. We're not
talking. I hit a driver into a par 4, and I've got a hybrid or a forward in. We're talking, I've hit a driver and I've got 85 yards. I've got 90 yards. I've got 70 yards. I've got 100 yards. It's not like
it's not about technique.
I had a 520
anymore.
I had a 520 yard. Well, mate, it is. Yeah, I had a 520 yard par 5. I've hit a drive 260 down the middle. I've hit a hybrid about 225, and I've knifed my wedge 35 yards through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how the, like, I mean, it's just
nullifies everything else. Unfortunately,
yeah. And then I scrambled to get up, and I 2-putted for a bogey.
Look, as someone that struggled with his wedges for a while, I totally understand it. I will say the Titleist Vokeys and getting custom fit and just building confidence and like listening to people that know more about golf than I do, people that have won majors, people that have coached major champions, like all that stuff. Like I've been so fortunate to be privy to some of these conversations and like some of this knowledge now that's like totally changed my game. And then hearing people that like have coached.
I've had a short game tutorial with Phil Mickelson. Like I've listened to the best people. I've had a 10-minute video, which we recorded, sound was rubbish, so we couldn't put out, with Charles Howell. I have had some of the best short game players in the world work for me. And I was really good. I just think my confidence. I'm just stood over a wedge. This is what I got to do. This is what I got to do. But here's the ridiculous thing. It is the yips, because I go to my course, I set myself up 80 yards away, put the ball in the fairway, hit 15 of them. I hit the green 14 times. I literally hit the green 13. One was on the fringe. 15 wedges from, I think it was 80 yards, so I did it. I hit the green 13 times, at the fringe once, and I missed the green once, and I was about 8 yards. I was pin high, but off the green left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a mental game. It's a mental game because that's how it was for me. Like I had to rebuild it. It took me a while, and it's like I had to simplify the process in my head too. Because once I did that and I started deconstructing like why I was doing what I was doing, and then I was able to reverse it. That was when the whole thing clicked. And then I started getting equipment that would help me perform. And then it's all of a sudden it's like, all right, now you just need reps. It took me 6 months. 6 months of just grinding out. And then all of a sudden it's like chipping, pitching, wedge game was like, well, that's how I need to be hitting these. Duh.
That's the silly thing. Chipping's fine. Yeah. Chipping's absolutely fine. 20 yards and in, not a problem.
Yeah. It's a mental...
And hitting a 9-iron or a pitching wedge from 140 yards, 150 yards, I'm fine. It's as soon as it's
total mind F.
It's the non-full shot. That's the problem. It's the non-full. Anyway, no one cares about my game. Neither they need to hear about my game. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic time. Jay and I will be bringing you some more, as we always do. I will have a proper golf studio to do some podcasts in. I will find some headphones. I will find. I might buy a second microphone, because at the minute I'm leaving it in the office. Like, it's 260 quid for that mic you and I have got.
I know,
But
not cheap.
they're not cheap.
I got
but
it from us, but yeah, it was good. Yeah, it's no, there's a lot to come in the new year for sure. There's a lot of moving parts. Happy New Year to everybody. This is going to be our last podcast of the year. Obviously, a lot going on, a lot to come. Like, I mean, like we always say, it's an exciting time to be a golf fan. It's still an exciting time to be a LIV Golf fan.
We've actually had one of our supporters, a guy that I've actually played a bit of golf with already before, a guy called Damien, who's reached out and actually said that would we like help with a podcast in wrapping up LIV events. So when we're not able to do it, does he want to do it? It's one of the things that you and I have said that we struggle to find time. And you, let's be honest, right? There's not a criticism of you or me. You have much less interest talking about the X's and the O's.
Strikes.
Yeah, about what's going
on for the majors and the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, you'd much rather talk about a week later how it's affected the table and the teams and what might be happening in the machinations of the league. So we're in discussion with Damien Walker. Let's give Damien's actual profile a shout out. If you don't follow No Good, or where is it? If you don't No Good at Golf on Instagram, so it's No Good at Golf, all one word. Go and follow Damien. He's going to be doing some stuff for us. Doing the balls and strikes, covering some of that stuff with LIV, leaving the politics to Jay and I. I'll jump on with Damien, do a couple. PGC might jump on and do a couple when I can't do it, and do a bit of balls and strikes to split out. But nice to have a bit of new blood. And also, Damien can edit shit, which I cannot do.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Red, obviously, even though he's a new father, has a lot less time. Yeah, Red's still involved, obviously.
I love Red, and I want him on the podcast all the time. And when he comes on, it's brilliant. One of the things I really want to do with Red, whether he's listening or not, is his son might be keeping him awake, or he might be asleep. I don't know. And what I really want to do with Red did one of my favorite bits of content I've seen in a long time, which is when he did a hole by hole preview of a tournament that was coming up. I would love him to do that again for LIV, for courses, and for new courses, and then the existing courses on the schedule, and do that. But when Red does that, it's absolutely phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think he'll definitely.
He knows. We got to get the schedule. I love my golf course architecture, but he loves it. Yeah, we need the.
We got to finish the schedule
LIV,
first.
Can we have a schedule, please?
Yeah.
And one last thing with LIV. Remember, there are people out there that love the product and love what you do.
Yes.
Lean into them. Let them carry on being your voice.
Yes, 100%.
You're never gonna turn certain people. Allow your advocates to advocate for you.
Allow the people on the inside to do their job without being unfettered and unbothered. Like, you have so many great people on the inside that are like reporters and writers and whoever it is, players too. Like, let them be your evangelists and share information that they think is going to be interesting to the fans and the masses, because that's a huge component in this thing. We're another huge component in this thing, the sort of fan community that we're building. And like, we do need more from you guys. Like, I'm going to say this from the heart. You guys all know how much I love LIV and how much is better than the PGA Tour, even with a lot of your problems. We just need more from you to like really get the fans excited, to like say, hey, like, this is where we are, this is where we're going to be, and this is how we're going to get there. Like, it's something I've seen from the beginning. It's what we've been talking about since we started this podcast. I do feel like with the leadership change, that communication is not quite there the way that it used to be. So I would like to start rebuilding that in sort of formal communications. There needs to be more formal communications. They need to be quicker. We can't have these big reveals that like get scheduled a week out and then all of a sudden it gets leaked and then it's like all this other stuff. No. Forget all that stuff. You just need to be direct with the fans, direct with your supporters, direct with the media, and the rest will take care of itself. Like, we can't like have any delays. We just need to get this thing going. We need to get the momentum back. And like, that's the only way this is going to be successful. So we need more from you guys. And this is our way of saying it.
ladies and gentlemen, for anyone that wants to write on Twitter that all I do is say positive things about LIV, please put them into the podcast. I love the product. I love LIV. I love the people there. Like, I've made some great friends in LIV. There are some of the most amazing business people I've met in there, and they are fantastic. Their jobs. We just got to make sure things are done a little bit better in the way we get information out. And I know there's some reluctance to say, I'm not saying JJ, but I know they might not want to say, and we've signed JJ Spawn, we're announcing into the league, and then JJ pull out. Well, if JJ signs a contract, again, don't mean JJ, I'm just using an example before anyone goes, you're saying JJ Spawn. JJ Spawn pulls out, he pulls out. That's not distract.
It is what it is.
From the league. That detracts from him. People pull out the sports deals all the time. It is what it is. Let fans know what's going on. At the minute, the high flyers, it looks at the minute, the high flyers is Phil and Cameron Tringale. No one knows what's happening with Steele, and we know that Ogletree's gone.
Sounds like Brendan Steele's back. It hasn't been 100% confirmed. I think some of that has to do with...
But AJ, stop there. That's the problem.
I know.
It's not being confirmed. If Brendan Steele is coming back, fucking just tell us he's coming back. Let us know there's only one place available. Tell us Brendan Steele is back. Put Laurie Cantor on the website.
Or say that it's likely. Say that it's likely, unlikely, because, like, you know, it depends on the person that you're signing, bringing in another player too. Like, this is the type of transparency we need in season 5. Like, we just can't fudge us anymore. This is it. We said last year was a critical year. We're still sort of dealing with some of this stuff. We need to start getting this cadence right. We need to start getting the communication right.
Do you remember the TV show Friends?
Yeah, of course. Never watched it.
You say Friends, series 6, episode 4, the one where Joey finds a Porsche. LIV, season 5, the one with clear, transparent communication. That's this episode. That is season 5 of LIV, is the one with clear, transparent communication. That's it.
Fair.
Like, just get your players talking. Get your players out there. If they're not allowed to say certain things, tell people before the interview. I'll just say Caleb. I don't mean Caleb, but Caleb comes to the podcast. Caleb, if anyone asks you about ownership, just say, look, before we can't talk about ownership, and we can't talk about this, we can't talk about that. But everything else is open. If the interviewers try and talk about it, then don't give your players to those interviewers again. But get your players out there, get them talking, get them on podcasts, get them on shows. We've had loads of players on, and we've got some more lined up. I don't mean us, I mean in general, just get everyone out there. Get momentum, get buzz going. You've got some of the most exciting young players in the world. Cam Smith looks like he's refound his form. I've not seen an article from LIV, other than one from Matt, about Cam Smith being good. I've not seen any Cam Smith in the media. I've not seen any Cam Smith in the golf product publications. Why not? He's one of the best names in the world. He looks like he's refound his form. At a tournament that meant an absolute stack to him. And we've heard nothing about it.
Fully committed to LIV.
And we've heard nothing about it.
The guys are so committed to LIV Golf. Like, they understand it better than anybody.
Is it because they're scared that people are going to say, hey, Cam, you've not re-signed Matt. Does that mean you've signed someone else? Then
they need to get this information out there. They need to get this out.
Cam and Ants, which is, hey, look, until the qualifiers are done, we're not exactly sure what our squad looks like. As soon as the qualifiers are done, within 40 hours, we'll notify you whether it's Matt or someone else.
Yes.
And that answer's fine, because that is an answer, which is we don't know our squad because we've got to see if Matt requalifies. If you can understand that Matt could have just been re-signed because he wasn't in relegation, I understand that. But regardless,
clearly hasn't been because he's in the promotions event.
Exactly. but give us an answer. Get Cam on a podcast talking. If Cam doesn't want to talk golf, I'll come and talk Ashes with him. I'll take one for the team. Cam can abuse me. I cannot show my face with all the abuse I gave about the English cricket team to Anna Barn and to the Aussies about how much better than them we were. Americans, you have no idea.
You should do a cricket podcast.
Shit I've got to eat. I've got to eat so much shit.
You do a cricket podcast with like Anirban and like Cam and like a lot of these guys. But I don't have to participate. I know nothing about cricket.
I just can't sit in the corner looking dumb. Like, what are you talking about?
I can observe. I could take photos. I could do the AV stuff. That's fine. I don't need to participate in that. That would be good content. I think people outside the U.S. this would be a total because people in the U.S. don't care about cricket. Clearly,
Yeah,
So.
we can do a rugby one with the Stinger boys as well. While they're Saffers, they are much more in the rugby world than they are in the cricket world. Outside of KP, who went and played with the Stingers, but they like their cricket, but they do like their cricket. The Stingers are much more of a rugby foursome than they are a cricket foursome. But the Rippers, they are cricket through and through. It's so funny. The sport you play as a pro is never the one you actually want to play. Like all the England cricket lads, they all play golf. All the Australian cricket lads, they all play golf. All the Rippers, they all play cricket. Leash loves cricket. Like Leash would happily cut cricket pitches the rest of his life. Like I love the fact every time I see Leash, we talk about mowers. Like it's so sad.
That's good stuff. I love that.
We've actually got our phones out and looked at photos of each other's mowers, which is really, really geeky.
Wow.
But there we are.
Wow.
Yeah,
that goes over my head too. But
yeah, 16-inch Dennis.
I think when we start talking about mowers, it's probably time.
Yeah, right. Good night, everybody. Take care.